evening. I'd like to welcome you to the Woodbury Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. Please rise for the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Meeting adjourned.
This is the Woodbury Zoning Board of Appeals. We meet the second Wednesday of every month. Our next meeting will be April 10th. Our board is, as you're looking at them, your far right, Mr. Joseph DiVenuto, Mr. Gary Kestenbaum, Mr. Kevin Abrams, Mr. Craig Brady. To your far left, we have Mr. Michael Donnelly, our attorney. At the table over there is Jessica McLennan, our recording secretary, and I'm Karen Ungerer. Okay. Referring to the agenda, we have no executive session. Number 2 is approval and acceptance of previous minutes. Has everyone read the minutes?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do I have a motion to accept the minutes as written?
I make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Jessica, I have one quick question. In approval and acceptance of previous minutes, when I made the motion in February, I made the motion to approve and accept the minutes as amended. I just wondering if I could have that added in there.
So just add the word amended?
As
Accept
amended.
the
After
amended minutes? Okay. Good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Did we have a second on that? Yes, we did. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. I'm going to move the Woodview Heights to the end because we're going to vote on the resolution, and they may not need the extension. All right. So let me get that resolution. Is this a unanimous vote is needed for this?
No.
Just 4 out of 5?
It's 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5, okay. This is a resolution. This is a rule that we were thinking of changing to the zoning code A316-9, letter E. At a meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals of the Village of Woodbury in the County of Orange, New York on February 13th, 2019, the Zoning Board of Appeals, having determined that its rules setting the outside duration of its area variance approvals at 90 days, that's A316-9E, creates difficulties for applicants that are unable to attain other required agency approvals within that limitation period, and that a rule allowing greater flexibility in extending that limitation period would better serve the residents of the Village of Woodbury. Now, therefore, be it resolved by Zoning Board of Appeals of the Village of Woodbury that its rules setting the outside duration of its area variance approvals at 90 days, according to A316-9, letter E, be hereby repealed and replaced with the new A316-9E to read as follows. Letter E, expiration. Unless otherwise specified, any order or decision of the board for a permitted use shall expire if a building or occupancy permit for the use is not obtained by the applicant within 180 days from the date of the decision. Should the proposal also require approval from the Village of Woodbury Planning Board, the 180-day extension window shall run from the date of final Planning Board approval. In all cases, the board may extend this time for one additional period of 90 days if such extension is warranted by the particular circumstances. Do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
I'll make that motion.
A second?
I'll second Kevin's motion.
Any discussion? Okay, Joe, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Gary?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So that's unanimous. So that has passed. Public hearing, Shops of Woodbury LLC. This is a continuation of a public hearing for area variances and interpretation. Applicant proposes to construct a commercial center and hotel having a lot area of 9.65 acres. The height of the proposed hotel is 60 foot high, whereas pursuant to Section 310-7 bulk regulations, The maximum height permitted is 35 feet. Furthermore, the applicant requires an interpretation as to whether a hotel is permitted as part of a commercial center pursuant to Section 310-49C3. In the alternative, the applicant is requesting an area variance from the minimum lot area required pursuant to Section 310-6F. Said property is located in the IB zoning district off the intersection of State Route 32 and Losey Lane in Central Valley, and is known on the Village of Woodbury tax maps as Section 225, Block 1, lots 34.1 and 34.2. The applicant, at our request, will appear next month. Our attorney could not be present, and neither could any of the associates, so we have no legal counsel, so I requested a postponement until next month. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak to this application? I didn't think so. Do I have a motion to postpone this till next month?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So the public, Shops of Woodbury will come next month. Second on the agenda is Falkowitz, continuation of public hearing for an area variance and special permit for the demolition of an existing non-conforming three-family dwelling and construction of a two-family dwelling. The applicant proposes two alternate plans, Plan A and Plan B. Will both require a variance to permit the expansion of a non-conforming use and special permit pursuant to Section 310-43.2B1 and 310-43.C of the Village Code. However, Plan B requires an additional variance to permit a rear yard setback of 40.1 feet, whereas pursuant to Section 310-6B and 310-7 bulk regulations, a 50-foot rear yard is required. Said property is located in the R2A zoning district at 12 Skytop Road in Highland Mills and is known on the Village of Woodbury tax maps as Section 217, Block 3, lots. I have lots 4. Is it only one? It's only one lot, I believe. Yeah, lot 4. The applicant is present, Mr. You want to show him how to turn that on, Jeff? On the very bottom, there's a flat section. There's a little power button you press.
Thank you, sir. That's good. Good evening. Jay Myro, Bluestein, Shapiro, Rich and Barone. I'm the attorney for the applicant. Assuming we only had two plans that we had submitted before, it's our intention to now submit a third plan. That is because of the recently rendered interpretation from the building inspector. The new plan that we intend to submit will be limited to the 10% expansion that we're allowed under the code by special permit. So we're pretty much back to square one. That plan will be drawn and will be limited to a 10% expansion, which is permitted under your code.
You're still seeking a conversion to a two-family home, though?
I believe so. Although I think we could expand it with 3, I think it's still his intention to do 2. So what we will do is between now and the submittal date, the architect is working on the plan with the surveyor. We will submit that to Gary to make sure that based on his review, it would conform to the 10%. Then come to you with that plan next month, hopefully for an approval of the special permit. Assuming that we are limited to we're reducing from the 3 to the 2 family, I believe we will meet the criteria for giving the permit because I think if we show the same or less parking and traffic, then I think we're pretty much entitled to it. So that plan is being drawn, and we'll get it to Gary as soon as we can, and we'll be back here next month, so we would request an adjournment at this point.
Do you still plan to demolish, or do you just plan to expand?
We talked to Gary about that. Gary asked I don't want to put words in his mouth, but Gary suggested we ask you to allow us to do a demolition and rebuild, and that's based on the engineering report that we gave you from the Felonser Engineering, which showed that the foundation is shot. And for us to do it piecemeal just makes no economic sense. Gary again, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he didn't seem to have a problem with it. He believes it had been done before. We're going to ask the board to allow us to do it as one project, especially in considering that we would be reducing from 3 to 2. But any other factors that we could bring up, we'll bring to you at that time. But that will be one of the requests. I think I put that in one of my writings. So
We'll cross that bridge when we get there. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
hopefully next month.
So you'll submit those plans like at least a week prior to the meeting?
We try to, we comply with what Maria requires. She requires 2 weeks. We get them in 2 weeks before, so that, and I plan to get them in more than 2 weeks before so Gary can give his interpretation within the 2-week period. But yes,
Karen?
absolutely.
Should we ask, while, just to save time, should we ask for a letter from the emergency services, have him obtain that? Because I know the road issue is a problem, so why don't we
You
just
mean-
resolve that and find out from the emergency services whether Skytop is suitable?
We're no longer asking for a variance, so I don't think that's really, if we do reduce the intensity, I think even if the road is, oh, wait, I'm sorry, you're right. My client, I think, is committed to doing a repair on that road, but I'll have to get you the time frame. And I believe he's committed to do it fully out of his own pocket. I have to check with him because we're not getting exactly what we wanted, but I remember at the last meeting, he had committed to a repair of that road. At the time we were doing it, we were going into the winter. It wasn't going to happen. But I will get you, Kevin, I'll get you an answer on that.
Well, I just figured that'll save time. I
Yeah.
could get here next month. And
You can
then-
ask for the road, but
Show the plans to emergency services so they see it, fire and
Okay.
police and ambulance. Your proposal to upgrade it, let them see it, and then they can give us a letter.
That'll
okay,
solve,
I'm just not sure, I don't know where in the code we're required to do that, but, I mean, if the road's in bad shape, it's in bad shape, but we'll ask whether it's passable, I guess. Yeah.
So what your plan is to submit an amended application, revised application, since you're adding a,
We're not going to revise, well, I think we already
For
asked.
timeliness purposes, your application is made, but you have to revise it to show your new
I don't think,
proposal.
I think we put in there in the alternative that we'd be allowed to do the 10% expansion.
Yeah, but I don't think your plans showed 10% expansion. It had 10% in the
All right.
footprint alone.
So you want me to put in a narrative or something, or to amend the
I think
application?
you're
A
gonna have to have
letter?
a plan that shows a.
Oh, no, we're going to give
footprint.
you a whole new plan, yes.
Yeah,
And I'll
that's
put a
what we're
letter in asking the application to be amended accordingly.
Yeah.
okay,
I make a motion, we carry it over to the April
10th.
10th meeting.
Do you have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, so you will submit materials prior to the April 10th meeting, and if you're not able to do so, you'll let us know.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
We expect to do it, we're waiting for the architect. The only problem would be is if he can't get to it, and I don't have much control over that, so. But
Okay.
we told him 2 weeks ago, we told him after we got Gary's interpretation. The client made the decision after he got that.
Okay,
Okay,
all right, thank you.
you're welcome. Not going far.
All right.
Got one
We
more
moved
thing, don't
we moved the Woodview Heights, but since we voted on the resolution for Woodview Heights, you asked for a 90-day extension, but we just changed the rule to 180 days, and that
We'll run from,
starts from when you finish with the planning board, and then you're entitled, you have 180 days from that time, and if you needed
Okay. So
90-day
I
extension.
didn't read the language. So you have 180 days if you don't require planning board approval?
it's either 180 days from the variance if you don't, or 180 days from the planning board
Okay,
approval.
so
if
any
you need.
application that's pending
Still
before the
before.
planning board, so we're open as long as we proceed with the planning board?
Correct.
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 That's wonderful.
Isn't that a
I
great thing?
really appreciate that. Thank you so much. But I will tell you, we've been pushing our engineer. We expect to have something next week submitted to the planning board. We do expect that it's going to take about a year because we have referrals to Department of Health and to DEC for the sewer and the water. But it's going to take about a year. I asked them very specifically because I thought you might want to know that.
So you don't have to come back for every 90 days.
I can't. but I'll be
was
back. I'm going to be back in a year anyway. I'm going to be back in April,
I'm
no
sure.
matter what.
away.
Oh, and
You like us.
right, I do. And I don't know if you want me to answer any questions about what happened with Seth Pulver's application. I heard you talking about the uncoordinated review.
No, we're good.
We'll
Okay,
wait.
because we'll be, okay, because we hope to be on the next agenda for that also, here,
Before our board.
in April.
Okay,
And I think we're preparing the submission for that too.
all righty.
Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank
You have the
you.
market cornered here. Can't ask for more than that. Yeah, is that it?
All righty, next on the, you're welcome.
Have a
Mr.
good
Morrow.
night.
Next on the agenda is a building inspector's report, for which we have none. Deliberations on closed public hearings, for which we have none. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
A motion for adjournment.
Second? I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Are they awake?